Welcome back, guys. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I hope that you're thankful for each and every day that we have of life as well. So let's get into it. The strongest man that I've ever known is also the most stubborn. My oldest brother got into an accident more recently, and the doctors told him that he'd never walk again. Funny thing about that is, I don't believe they knew who they were talking to. When I met him, he was an atheist. But life has totally changed his life in regards to all the different experiences that he's had that have made him even stronger than the day that I met him. So let's start from the beginning. When he was a baby, his father looked into his eyes and he thought he was handsome. He looked at him and he loved the impression, he loved the reflection of a son that he saw when he looked down at his little boy. And the more he spent time with him, the more he wanted his son to be the stronger of the two. So he said to himself, you know what? I want my son to be stronger than me. How am I going to be able to do that? He thought for a while, and he kept looking down at his little boy while walking down the street. And he decided what he was going to do. He took a rope and tied a knot around his son in this rope and threw his son into the water. He turned his back a little. He did not want to pull the rope too fast. He wanted his son to be a survivor. He wanted his son to be stronger than him. He wanted his son to be a survivor who was able to get through anything that life brought him. Before he could turn and pull the rope back, his son was swimming. So he said, already my son has already proven that he's stronger than us too. Got his son out of the water, took the rope from around his waist, and they walked. Now, his father passed away. When his father passed away, he was the person who had to be stronger. He married a woman, and the woman was having some problems with her family. She needed to get out of the environment. And him, one thing I have to say, he's worked many jobs, but when he began doing his own independent work, independent contractor, independent owner, he never threw anything in anyone's face, and he barely even mentioned what he did. He became more humble the higher he got. So when his wife was going through some things, he decided he was going to move his family out of the Bronx and move them to a more civil area. He wanted to move into an environment where the people were striving just as he was. He wanted to be in an environment where people were actually going to advance themselves, because he felt like this is the environment he needed to be around. He needed to be around people who were striving for more, because this is what he was about. He needed to rub elbows with people who he knew would actually be winners, because he felt like he was a winner. So they moved, and his life changed forever. Now, although he did not stay with the woman, they ended up separated. They separated on terms of friendship, always respecting each other, and always looking forward to being able to co-parent their children and to grow stronger as individuals. This man, when he got into the car accident and he lost his ability to walk, the doctors told him, you'll never be able to walk again. What they did not realize, I'm going to say it again, is who they were talking to. Now, this man, my oldest brother now, used to call me an aunt. And I used to get so upset and frustrated as to why he called me an aunt. But if you think about it, I was a very sensitive child. If you think about it, an ant, if someone calls you an ant, that has to be a compliment. Because what do ants do? They work the hardest. They strive to gain food and to gain strength in their possibilities amongst other ants. So it was a compliment, but I didn't see it that way. So as I stated, in his recovery, because he definitely was going to recover, he did not listen to the doctors. He focused on his focus. His dog, one of his closest friends. He looked to his dog and they went wherever it was that they needed to go. And he did not like his children having to weigh on him. He wanted to be independent as always. So what he did was, he worked even harder to get himself back into walking. Now he's not only running and still riding his bike, he just chose a different type of bike this time. People never know what their strengths are until they have been challenged with life's many challenges. Sometimes you are challenged beyond measure, and somehow you get through it. You get through it with the faith of God, knowing that God is going to guide you through it. He knew that he was going to have to make the first step, but God guided him through the process, and now he's able to walk, run, and do everything that he once did before. A little differently this time, but still the same in other cases. When you are given a challenge in life, you must persevere. There were people who decided that they were going to nest in someone's energy, and they were going to sell out one family member. They decided that they were going to survive and gain through this one person's energy. But God saw fit to allow them to do this for at least 10 years to see if they would finally turn around. They were warned so many times, but they did not do what they were supposed to do. Unlike my oldest brother, who strives independently, works by the sweat of his brow, makes the sacrifices to make sure that his family is not only fed, but is taken care of. He makes sure that he shows love in so many ways. Love you, big brother. Thank you so much for all that you do and for all that you've been in our lives. This is Indigo Moon. Have a wonderful one.